Hey guys, what's up? This is Patrick. In this video we're going to be playing some 1k, some 2k, and we're just going to comment on the spots as they come, try to play a solid strategy. Here we open King 10 suited versus a Lagano, and we get a fold. Here we have a recreational limping at 10-20. I think I want to raise large-ish. 5, maybe 6 big blinds even. We'll go for 5. Seems to be playing very solid VPIP. But up until now seems to be playing a little bit less loose passive, so I think going for 5 is probably reasonable. I think what you'd want to do there with that ace queen is have different opening sizes, so the better your hand you want to raise bigger, because he's not going to limp 3-bet as often as he should. So if we have, let's say 10-8 suited, we might want to raise to 3 big blinds or 4 big blinds, still building a pot, but we won't be 3-bet very often or put in a tough spot, so we can get away with stuff like that. Here we're going to squeeze. Go to 13. Expecting a reasonable amount of 4-bets, perhaps slightly more than average, but we seem to get a call. 2 calls it is. This is an interesting board. I think I'm just going to bet at a high frequency here. We might occasionally check ace-king here, but I think I'm just going to bet very often. Van Amsterdam occasionally has a 9, but other than that, this board is very neutral, which means that our overpairs and ace-king are going to be very strong here, because both players are going to have a ton of overcards that they now are being squeezed with. If they have pocket 5s, pocket 4s, pocket 6s, 7s, it also is kind of a grim situation to be in, so I think we get the bet at a very high frequency there, or at least a fairly high frequency, even multi-way. If we're going to check something, then ace-king is probably reasonable, especially without a heart in our hand. Here I 3-bet. Again, one of those spots where the 9 isn't really all that relevant, because there's not an awful lot of 9x in both pairs' ranges. And so I'm just going to bet my entire range for 40% here. In position is going to call ace-king pre-flop and then on the flop. And so this king interacts with that somewhat. But still I think I just bet the turn half pot and then shove river. Wish him good luck. That's an interesting card. I think shoving here myself is probably too thin for value, so I'm just going to, although we just bet at a very high frequency, I'm not entirely sure if we get to shove here. Not sure, this feels very thin, but yeah, I don't know. This is one that I would want to check later. This feels like a run out where we just get the bet at a very, very high frequency. If there's a hand that wants to check, it's probably something like this, or pocket jacks, pocket 10s. He doesn't really have that much king x except for ace king off, which we block. Might be too thin though. Like I could be easily convinced that that's way too thin of a shove. But here we have a very standard call, and on the flop still very standard call. I'm going to time down a little bit so that it looks a bit more like I'm thinking about it. I like the sizing, I think. For the sizing he gets to bet most of his aces and leverage the fact that he's going to have more of them. I had this close already versus the sizing. I don't think we get a full third pair, but I'm not entirely sure. Might need to mix in folds on the turn already, to be honest. This is a small sizing, you get to fold, defend a lot usually. What is our value betting threshold? Well, I'm not even sure. Probably a queen. I don't think we bet an ace because of the split equity, so I think we just go ahead and bet large with a queen or better and make his aces indifferent. A relatively quick call. I think his hand is probably okay to call. Yeah, it's probably reasonable to call. Like, it's... Am I overbluffing? I'm not sure. Like, are there bluffs? Sure. Like, there's some diamonds that missed, some vector spades that missed, but yeah. Misha presumably is going to open a bit wider because Mr. Richmond is involved here. And we get a very quick, quite a large 4-bet. And Pai is sitting a little bit deeper, I suppose. I'm just going to rip, obviously. Quick call. And queens. Sure. Always good to win the first one. That's even better. It's always good when that happens. It's been happening a lot lately. Like, I've been playing a full-time schedule since June, and I've won a lot, which is always going to be good. I've got some history with this player, so it's kind of funny that I'm getting to sit here. Heads up with this dude. I'm going to sit out next big blind down. I could call, I could shove. I think either is fine heads up. I've studied heads up maybe 2 hours in my life, so if this is, I don't think this is a punt, but the fact that I'm not getting a snap call is pretty good. Hope. Does he slow roll me? Okay, it could be worse. We'll run it twice. Let's both take one. It would be fair. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I'm pretty sure that this guy's an edge on me heads up. I have no idea how much heads up he studied, but he's very, very good. Oh, do we get a table? Ah, we don't. Good sizing. That's funny. We will call here. We could shove occasionally, I guess, but I have no idea where do we go from here. In this hand, though. Would have preferred this to be a very blank 3 of something. Wonder if there are shoves here. Oof, this is gross. It says up. I've top pair to kicker. It's not a board where I think we get to fold a lot on. Kind of wonder if we rip or call at this SPR. I think we gotta probably rip a reasonable amount. I have no idea if this rips, but we don't have a diamond. Can't be too bad. Ah, that's not good. Oof, okay, that's a lot better than I figured it would be. That's good. Let's do 2. Yeah, that's good. He got 1 in the previous run. We'll just take 2 now. That's fine. I can live with this. Starting off with a pretty good run. I hope I don't win too much, because otherwise might get complaints again for winning too much when I post videos. I'm just going to bet small. We have a very straightforward check back here, and then the side river. I think I'm just going to go with a fairly balanced strategy versus this player, and yeah, just based on his sizing, I'm going to make a decision. This is relatively good. I'm going to win sometimes here, not super often, but sometimes. Yeah. It is one of those spots where he should be bluffing all of his bluffs in equilibrium. So if he has some random jack high here or worse and some king highs, then he needs to bluff with those hands, because when I check back, I don't really have a flush very often. I don't really have a straight very often, don't really have a set very often, and he can still have those hands. So I'm sort of capped at decent top pair, and he is relatively uncapped. That's a good flop. He got spot, which is a good sizing in this texture. We occasionally are going to raise, but mostly are going to call. It's very easy to be way too value heavy if you raise here, because well, like if we just raise this, like maybe some occasional gut shot, but realistically the problem is that we don't have the strength in our range. We don't have pocket jacks, we don't have ace king, ace queen as often as our opponent does, and so we got to be somewhat careful there. Turn is quite interesting, brings in a straight, as well as he's going to make some two pair with ace king, so a very good card for him. Not the worst card for my range, because I'm going to make some straights as well. And the question is, what do we do here? I think my hand is an okay. No, wait, my hand's not an okay check back. Wait, we are going to. Not sure about the sizing there. I don't think my hand is a decent checking candidate, because my opponent doesn't really have a lot of jack X. So. Yeah, it's just that simple. I don't block checkbacks, so I don't think checking this is very good. This is just a call. Yeah, we get a bit lucky there. I'm not sure about how I played that, like the river. I was kind of confused. Should I be checking here? I thought, okay, if I book a jack, then I block checkbacks, because a jack is going to check back on the river, but he doesn't really have those. Right, when he overbets the flop here. So he's not overbetting the flop with a jack at any meaningful frequency, so I don't really block those checkbacks. Here we go, the 3-bet versus our good friend, whatever this means. Running cold, he says, and he calls. I'm going to check range on this texture. I think we're going to have a relative... Oh, well, we're going to 3-bet 10s, 9s. It's actually not that bad for us. But I'm still going to mix. Very interesting turn. I'm going to bet it. And then just give up on the river. I think betting is fine. We are going to make a lot of pairs. It's relatively hard to have not a pair here. So betting it seems reasonable. Just put his pairs into a tough spot. And build a pot for it in case we hit. This is quite a wide 3-bet by me. This is probably a bit too wide, to be honest. I don't think we get to do this necessarily. Quite ambitious. We got 3-bet here. This will be the last hand of this video, so we will call, see a flop, try to flop something really, really sweet. Not too bad. And my opponent goes with 40% here, which is quite a decent sizing. We're going to defend the ace highs, the stronger king highs. Something like 9-10. We are going to call. This is pretty close with backdoors. I think we get the fold though, but it is a bit close. So that's it for this video. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comment section down below. And for now, if you're playing today, good luck to the tables and talk to you guys soon. Bye.